Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Ken Chesbro, and he is back in the soup and deservedly. All right, so reviewing the bidding a little bit, he is one of the first few to the bar and setting up a plea agreement in Fulton County. So he early tries to extricate himself from trouble there, and he is required to cooperate with a lot of pending investigations, including ones in states which had their individual efforts to basically insert fake, phony Trump electors in favor of the actual electors whom the people had voted for. Okay, so Michigan is investigating, and as part of its investigation, they talked to Chesbro. And Chesbro tells them, he's asked point blank, I really think, we haven't seen the whole thing, but I think he is stitched up here and in trouble. That there's no other social media account he uses, no other Twitter account that he uses. And moreover, he delivers this overall self-serving account where Chesbro, he wasn't ever advocating having phony electors that Pence just anoints. The most he ever said to the Trump campaign was, if you shall win in the courts, and so things are in genuinely murky, then possibly Pence could so announce, and then it maybe goes back to the state legislatures, and then under the numbers, everything is pretty great for Trump. But guess what? He's been caught out in a lie, and it turns out that he had another Twitter account under another name that he since has tried to yank, but that CNN, among others, have fully accessed, and it is bad. It totally puts the lie to what he told Michigan investigators. So for starters, it seems a very strong case of what under federal law would be 1001 lying to investigators. That's for starters. Second, it's the kind of lie, it's a material lie that could easily vitiate his plea agreement with Fulton County, which now could be, all bets are off potentially. And just third, he really looks terrible because when you look at the substance of the account, it is 180 degrees from what he told Michigan investigators. In fact, and starting in October, before the election was even finished, he, in this guise, was staunchly advocating that Pence could do what he wanted, and it didn't depend on the courts. He says that outright. He pushes back on just a stray reader on Twitter and says, that's politics, dude. Meaning that Pence, that power wins and Pence can do whatever he wants. He tells this to the Trump campaign. So very, very far from being the guy that he portrays himself as being, which is not simply in the background, not endorsing false electors' plans. And these false electors, by the way, are now being indicted around the country. It entails fraud, election crimes, and the like. They sign papers that just say, oh yeah, we're the duly designated electors and we're for Trump. Flat out lies, fraud, federal crimes, state crimes, and really the subject of different state AGs and investigations. So he's now comes across in this other hidden Twitter account as not simply toying with this idea, but being the spearhead and kind of intellectual driver of the idea, including to none other than John Eastman, who's pushing it within the campaign. The response, so the campaign is completely, pants are down, and they showed that this is his Twitter account, and their response is pretty laughable. They say, oh, here, he was just spitballing. Or at another point, they say, this is just a sort of stream of consciousness thing where he's trying out different ideas. His lawyer calls him at one point a goof, just saying this stuff. But one, it sure doesn't sound that way at all. Two, there are times when he proffers it directly to the Trump campaign. And three, it's just a flat out lie. And investigators with cooperators hate flat out lies. He said he didn't have anything other than Twitter. They made a very lame effort to say we should have made them clarify that was our bad. No, their bad was the flat out lie from Chesbro and his obvious fingerprints even before the election all over the plan, the unconstitutional plan, the anti-constitutional plan to have Pence in violation of his 12th Amendment duties, simply recognize the false electors or recognize a state of uncertainty. And as Trump wanted, then send it back and let my allies in Congress do the work. So he is up to his neck in this stuff. And he's doing it under a guise, bad in and of itself, but he flat out lies to Michigan. So there's the fact of it. This evidence is all going to be admissible against him if the plea agreement falls away and he becomes a defendant again. And there's the possibility that the agreement has now hit the rocks and he's in trouble in Fulton County and Michigan. But bad day for Ken Chesebro. And just among other things, there's flirting with criminality, there's criminality, and then there's lying about it to investigators. And what the hell was he thinking? So the Michigan has said, we're looking into this now, and I'm sure they are. As I've said, lies told to investigators as part of cooperation agreements really get the attention of the investigators, and he's possibly in real hot water, both there and in Fulton County, where his agreement required him to provide only truthful information. And it's now been revealed that in his stream of consciousness, spitballing way, he completely lied to Michigan investigators. Stay tuned, but real possible turbulence on the horizon for Ken Chesebro. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.